Pink sparkles! This gem from the safe I busted open. It was almost jelly-colored, but well, obviously not edible.
Don't put in water without test subject.
Compound read part of a letter that was inside, and was fascinated by this thing as I was.
Sure ain't looking like some regular old gem.
Scattershot gazed into it, looking closely at it, like there was some super secret mystery and she was the spy for it. I had a better idea. I wanted to see what this did if there was some water. Wonder what this does to ponies, huh?
So, where can a mare get some cider in this place? Do griffins even do cider?
Compound raised a hoof to her chin and looked at me, and into my eyes. A small grin became a wide smile quickly.
There's cute and adorable all over you, Leaf, you know that?
She was blushing quite a lot at this point, but...
Says you, gal. You're just as bad, you know.
One intervention of Scattershot was like pouring gasoline to a fire. You're both actually the most amazing fillies ever. I squealed and hugged them both into a firm group hug. Gosh, this was so warm and awesome and close on so many levels. Some nuzzling and kissing later.
I could really use a good drink now. I wonder if griffins have...
This filly had the same idea, and after today, a little celebration was overdue. We could have gotten killed on so many occasions today, but we lived. Scattershot led the way out while Compound left some bottles on the furnace behind.
A drink? Well, just over there. But if you want to try something to really ruffle your feathers, try Betty's battery acid. That's the kind of stuff to make all of your body know it's still alive.
A griffin directed us to two little trucks with some kind of towel kind of thing connecting them to make some sort of improvised tent thing. One rather tall griffin was giving out the drinks.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
I smirked at the girls, wondering if they were feeling as daring as I was.
Like you even have to ask, Leaf. 3 battery acids, please.
Compound ordered, and the griffin got closer. Ponies probably being a rare sight.
Oh, Boss was here earlier. You, the ponies who dragged old Sapper out here. Hardly had to talk about so much about a group of ponies. And that was just 2 of you? Good to see folks who get things done.
The griffin started to mix things together, one of which was glowing green gel, some blended ice cubes, yellow hill ferns, and another liquid I didn't know.
Enjoy. That's 15 caps per pony.
And I fancily levitated 45 bits right out of my saddlebag. After she did her part of the work, we sat down right at the bar and toasted together.
Cheers, every pony. Here goes.
Compound was the first to take a sip, and me and Scattershot followed soon after. It felt like lava oozing down your throat, so cold and yet hot. My mind felt like it just got shocked by something electrical, and within seconds, went into that titsy feel when you know you've had a stiff drink. That was only one sip. I barely managed to not cough.
Shucks. Feels like a rat roach hive in my throat, but real good.
Compound's face was getting red again, but this time from the alcohol she was just having. She was hanging in there, enjoying the feel. This was gonna be one heck of a night.
Could probably clean anything with this stuff.
I suppose this is what it feels like when an ice-cold volcano erupts in some pony.
I added to her statement and gave her a hug. Sip after sip. My mind felt more like the skies were clear, and whatever bad stuff sometimes happens didn't matter. I was living the moment with 2 amazing-looking fillies. Scattershot was chuckling and barely got words out at this point.
I don't know. A chicken. New Appaloosa does this kind of stuff. So, Scattershot, it's been 3 days. You down or out?
Compound was still sorta with it. All Scattershot had to say to that was maniacal laughter followed by another swig.
Then I'd miss out on you two in good drinks. Make me.
Can't go with us, huh, dear? Can't get enough of this!
I was chuckling and swishing my tail, nuzzling her side. A few more moments passed till we finished our mugs. By some miracle, we were still able to trot, albeit like you'd expect extremely drunk ponies would. Some rest and laying down was overdue. And maybe an emergency bucket. We slowly made our way to the trailer. I could barely tell my hooves apart, and tripping was definitely gonna be an issue if I didn't take my time here.
Can we just admire the sunshine?
I looked to the skies and raised a hoof while squealing, and then I felt a hoof on my rear.
Yeah, I found it.
My ears perked up and I blushed brightly. Compound seemed to be drunk just as bad, and Scattershot was looking at Compound, and all Scattershot could muster was a smug and heavy grin. Somewhere staggering got us near our resting place, while Compound almost ran over the door as she bumped into it. Gosh, she was even more adorable than usually. I pretty much fell onto one of the beds, and Compound and Scattershot both kinda cuddled up to me. Felt like heaven with cider for centuries and ice cream cookies, but infinitely better. I was too drunk for anything else other than napping, so I rested my head against Scattershot's mane and dozed off. Feeling Compound's fluffy ball of what her mane was against my wings, my eyes slowly closed. My fillies, so special, so precious, and hella good looking. Who knows how much we'd be seen together, but gotta take it one day at a time. I found myself in a very strange dream, and felt and knew it was a trot through a lush green forest. And as I trotted through it, trees fell over behind me, leaves wilted, the skies closed behind me. I tried running from it, but as I did, it caught up to me. Was this my fault? I never wanted any of this. Tears in my eyes. If I failed to bring back Equestria, then what would my life be? I eventually tripped over something. I could only watch as the wastelands were right at my side. I heard something loud. A tree was falling. I tried to get up, but couldn't move, but only watched as it fell onto me. I yelped loudly and woke up, my body jerking up, or tried to. I felt in pain, my nose like some pony punched me, front hooves and hind hooves chained together separately. Enough to trot at least. Some strange collar around my neck. Something stuck on top of my horn as well. My eyes were blurry, and slowly I could see again.
Ho ho, our little play toy is awake. You're going to make sure the wasteland knows who to bow to.
A voice. Damn it. Was I pony napped? Buck's sake. Compound. Scattershot. If they even got a scratch from anything this pony did, I'd serve him to the Cerberus personally.
Taking out Raider hideout after Raider hideout. Magical blasts. You were worth the 5k bounty to me, and now you're going to pay off.
Where are my friends?
Some yellow earth pony with green mane and tail got closer to me.
Here's his backup, working for me, like you. They're still out cold, though.
This room was like a prison cell with bars and everything.
And if you even so much as think of hurting me, that collar will rip your head right off your body, Alicorn.
I was admittedly quite more nervous than usually when something like this went down, because this time I had quite more to lose.
Now, cast a lightning spell to the ceiling.
The thing on my horn was glowing. It felt like something was fighting my mind, guiding my head. That thing on my horn? But I would have been smart enough to play along anyhow. A swift charge of my horn allowed me to do as I was told, leaving a few marks in the ceiling. I needed to come up with something to get this guy to knock it off, so I had to play his game. For a while.
Not bad.
An almost insulting clap from him. I did have a few ideas in my head already, some options, some maybes and such. If I got my hooves on an EMP grenade, I'd ruin this pony's life. But I wasn't going to get this lucky. I had to get him to mess up. Or wait till he did on his own. The earth pony trotted over to me.
You took one of my factories, and even a wall section around Manhattan. I should be upset, but you were more to me alive.
A hefty blow to my head from one of his hooves almost got my eyes back to a blurry state. and blood came pouring from my nose this time. I still had to find out where they held the girls.
So helpless and yet so powerful. Almost ironic, isn't it? Do something stronger. I know you can. Blow a hole in the ceiling if you have to.
I took my time with this one. My magic pretty much cast on its own again, but it took a lot more time to do so. A very magical fireball later, and rubble falling to the ground, his smirk became a wide, dark, and evil smile.
Oh. You are worth every single cap.
Another hard blow to my chin almost made me blank out. Earth Pony said like a train.
You're going to be my little slave, and there is nothing you can do about it.
Tears were rolling down my eyes. I could taste blood in my mouth. Horse apples. But in all this pain, my mind was still sharp like a razor's edge. I had to find some way to lodge that collar off of me, and then bolt. But I couldn't bounce from here without knowing where my loved ones were held in this underground prison, as it seemed. He left, closed the door behind me. Didn't know what he'd do now, but I was hatching some plan in my mind. He did still let me cast spells, and as long as I didn't want to target him with anything I did, I'd be fine. Anything else would seem good for now. I tried getting the blood off my face, to no avail. Didn't think he hit me hard enough to give me a concussion. While he was gone, I inspected the cell. Mostly rocky walls. The bars didn't seem rusty or anything. Metal door and pretty sturdy chains I was tied to. Hoof steps, after I don't know how much time. I heard ponies, multiple ponies. The door. My cell opened, and I couldn't believe it. Compound. Scattershot. One of Compound's eyes blue, and her mane slightly bloody, but otherwise she was fine. But she had 2 collars on her. Pretty sure one was for killing her, and I was willing to bet the other one was to prevent her from casting spells. Scattershot was just standing there, pissed as can be, but also having a collar like mine. There was little she could do, until I realized there was a bandage around one of her hooves riddled with blood. The yellow pony from before was following them.
Now let's test your loyalty, slave. Kill them, boss.
Any pony would panic here, but I had a half-assed idea. Not only was he fool enough to let me still cast magic, but he brought the 2 most important ponies right to me. Now all that I had to do was capitalize on this. Some loophole had to be here.
Leave.
Compound looked at me. I've never seen her like this. Broken. Scattershot seemed flustered.
Do it! Now! Or I'm doing it for you.
He growled at me and I executed my plan. My horn started to glow and sparkle, flare brightly, and charge up. The black sun. The game changer. When nothing was the correct way out, this was. I was saving Equestria with all 3 of us alive. I only got 1 shot at this stunt. The black but blue glowing orb was almost as big as the room was tall as I cast it towards them. Compound closed her eyes, and Scattershot sighed. I made my horn glow 2 more times. Just as my spell was pulsating, it finally detonated, leaving behind a big crater.
Holy fucking wasteland! You actually did it, fucking traitor! Huh! How's it feel?
My horn glowed 1 more time, and before he even realized that every pony was gone, minus their equipment, the collar around my neck was teleported away. Now he couldn't use my friends as leverage. This was the one thing I was good at, teleporting. Despite me being beat up, it was now me who had a wide smirk on my face looking at him. But still, there was one more thing. That contraption on my horn which forced me to cast spells on certain ponies. I needed to break somehow. It felt like it wasn't stuck on by glue, but maybe screwed on.
You little baka!
I charged at him with everything I had, horn first. He didn't have time to get out a weapon from any of his pockets, but I didn't get to push him over or anything. Before I could shove my metal horn right into his side, he threw a punch at me. But before it landed, I turned my head in the direction of his hoof, at just the right angle. My head hurt badly this time, a crack, but this crack was no bone of mine, I hoped. Even when my body was a mess, and it was weak as it was, my mind was calm, like sailing through a rough storm. The inside of this boat was still pretty orderly. A few chunks of that infernal device on my horn fell right off, and a few sparks of getting destroyed from him, and the tide of this battle was flipped as it fell. I spat out more blood, and my vision was definitely a mess now. Almost like before I got drunk yesterday. My head hurt like crazy now.
Flippin' broadstay bucker.
Scattershot was gasping as words left her mouth. This sack of a hunk didn't realize I teleported both of my friends right behind him. I targeted them both with my spells. The order and pick was my choosing.
New Leaf, I don't hope you have to spare this.
Compound coughed while pointing a hoof at him, very distraught. Probably also slightly having impaired vision. My answer to that was another spell, which has earned me many names. This was a malfunctioning version of a spell.
You'll never live to hear me! Should have killed you on sight!
I held him in place by levitating him. My achy head made it only a little harder to aim, but my powers were present as ever.
Ponies like you are the sole reason we're living this life. Filth like you deserve.
I didn't like killing ponies, but this, I had to, or he would kill all three of us and maybe more. My horn showed quite a different kind of sparkle. A dark green sparkle this was. Purple bubbles. Being beat up, I had to wind up quite more than usually. I hated this, but self-defense is a must. And just like a regular magic beam, I released. This spell, however, was no steady beam, but rather a charged, quick blast of a ray. A translucent green spell with sparkles shot right into his face. Well, it wasn't recognizable as his face afterwards. At least he got a quick and painless death. His worthless hide flopped onto the ground. My head was pulsating in pain by now. I could barely see the two fillies with my vision. A close hug from both girls, a glad to be alive hug after. We managed to open the door with a convenient key in his pocket.
Always full of surprise, huh?
Compound rubbed her hoof in my mane with the widest smile all day. I could see that much at least.
Him without us? Ha! We're likely to see Celestia herself riding his horn to nap.
I got a kiss from Scattershot while opening the door. Slowly. He couldn't possibly have been the only one. I mean, whom did he pay 5,000 bits to? The Griffins? They couldn't have betrayed us after everything, could they? Or was it some guy who was following us for longer than we knew? Outside of the cell, the first stroke of luck down here. Our stuff, all in a little box. Surprised they didn't want to sell any of it, but come to think of it, some random potions, a bag with books, a memory orb, a random gem, a single grenade. Not anything I can imagine someone wanting this badly. And shotguns like scattershots? Those were common like the clouds nowadays. I quickly got my saddleback back on, and my hat, especially my hat. The fillies got their stuff as well. Scattershot reloaded her shotgun. Seriously, where does she hide all that ammo? We were pretty beat up, but at least now we could fight our way out, somehow. And if we indeed were close to Manhattan, that would be our best bet to get some help.
Bucker shoved a nail right into my hoof. Some pony's gonna have to get that out.
Scattershot sighed. I looked around the corner, squinting my eyes. Coast seemed clear. There were more cells down here, but we had to be close to the surface. 2 cells further down, another pony with a collar, until I blasted the door open with a rather simple deformation.
Let's go out of here.
I motioned, and he followed. A small cult, very young at that. We kept moving, freeing ponies from 6 more cells, till we ran into a pony in relatively heavy metal armor. Perfect for a pony who can hit lightning spells with accuracy that may make some snipers jealous.
The prisoners, they... Ah!
The mare squealed before she dropped down.
Buck, fine. What do you want? Don't capture any more ponies like this, or you'll experience what the old boss went through.
There's some fresh branches of them if you want to try.
Her ears were folded down. Fear. Afraid that we were just like every raider. But we were innocent ponies wanting to live in harmony.
Just killed her already.
one of the ponies said we rescued.
Fine, we won't hurt a bee anymore.
I made my horn glow and teleported the pony to Ruby Rubble, one of my close friends in the wasteland. I'm sure he'd put her to work. We kept galloping, but only one more guard and some harsh negotiating later, we heard beeping. Loud beeping. Heavy rolling as we got towards what felt like the exit. We peeked around a corner. A robot the size of a tank.
We must defend Equestria!
A sentry robot. Those things were tough as nails, but we had to get past him. Just didn't know what triggered him. Just as one of our rescued ponies, a teal earth pony, decided to turn the corner, a red dot on his head.
Come back!
I yelled, but it was too late.
All threats must be eradicated.
Red beams of energy pierced through him like rain, blood and everything. And a few seconds later, he dropped. Damn it! I had to save them. I wanted to save them with everything I could call willpower in me. I got my shield up. All behind me, now! I looked at them, and they looked back. I only now realized I was leading them. They were listening to me, trusting me. And well, they did already found out I was an alicorn probably. So that was that out of the way. I would lead Equestria someday, like I was leading them now, into a better future for all of us to enjoy. And I was going to take another step right through this infernal machine, even in this state.